Morning all. It is now 1:30, technically Christmas Eve. So yeah, I've come out to Sizewell today, further south than we've been yet. I've only been here in the daytime a handful of times, to be honest. It's not somewhere I generally head to. Well, it's one of England's most iconic industrial landscapes nowadays. Hang on a minute, we've got company. Okay, that's the police. Whoops. You'll be wondering what I'm doing, I should think. So anyway, we shan't worry about that. Yeah, it's one of England's most industrialised landscapes in the way that it is now a giant nuclear energy complex. We've now got 3 reactors here, Sizewell A, B, and are now building C. Kind of put me off coming here most of the time. So where did that copper go? Yeah, Sizewell A was built 1961, so it's been here for a long time. Well, that's the plod creeping about. I don't know what they're well, I do know what they're doing. Being a nuclear energy site, this is one of Britain's top targets for terrorism, I should imagine. You dropped a bomb here, that's job done. So he's probably hoping I'm not some radical fundamentalist, but I don't think so. So yeah, they decommissioned the first reactor, Sizewell A. That was taken offline in 2006, and they've been decommissioning it ever since, and that's going to take until 2027. They reckon that should be completed, and the site should be cleared by 2098. If you can believe that. I find it hard to believe because I'm not convinced we're all going to be here in 2098. I don't think the way we're going, we've got that many years left to put things right, so I can't see the clean-up ever being completed, to be quite honest. But in the meantime, they built Sizewell B, another unit in the same site, slightly different reactor. This one's a water-cooled pressurized reactor. The other one was a Magnox unit which used uranium, which was cooled by carbon dioxide. The steam produced then turned to turbines, as I understand it, which created the energy. And yeah, as of last year, they started building Sizewell C. So it's a sprawling complex. It's a lot of land under concrete. There's somewhere around 245 acres on the site, so it's a big unit, but it backs right down to the sea. But yeah, it is a site where amber washes up, along with many other things. Legend was, when I was a kid, don't swim here because the sea gets warm because of the reactor, and that brings the sharks in. But I mean, that's not how sharks work, but that's what local people used to tell you. But yeah, I don't think a shark's going to get me tonight, so we'll be alright. The other main historical point of interest here was during the war. There was two young lads who left Holland in a canoe. They paddled over 100 miles, it took 56 hours. They landed just down here on the beach. Willem and Henry, the names were. They were 2 of 32 men that left Holland in canoes. 8 of them landed this side of the water, and only 3 of them survived the war. Henry was one of them. Brave man, leaving Holland, not to escape the war, but to get out from under the Nazi rule and join the Allied forces this side of the water, to then go back across the water to the front line to face the Germans head on. So they were hard times, very brave men, but there's a memorial further up the beach here. Henry survived until the early 2000s, and I think in 2005 he commissioned a bronze memorial for the 32 men. A pair of crossed canoe paddles, one of which is broken, to represent the men that didn't make it. That was unveiled by his widow. He was dead by then, but she unveiled the memorial and brought his canoe down and laid it out on the grass. So yeah, they were brave lads. So yeah, that's quite a landmark of the village. The rest of the village doesn't comprise of a lot really. There's a few houses and a pub and a church, that's about it really. If you go back to the 1700s, smuggling was a huge operation here. This was the mainstay of the smuggling ports. A bit like Cove Hive, a bit further up where we usually hang out. That's got a lot of smugglers history, but down here it was absolutely rife. There was group of handy boys called the Hadley Gang. They were about 80 to 100 men strong. They had over 100 horses, sometimes up to 300 horses were seen here, all pulling carts. They'd come down here in droves because in 1747 England was at war with France and Spain. So the forces that would have been there to stop them were called away to fight the Spanish and the French. So they had the place pretty much themselves. Yeah, they did very well. It's mostly tea and brandy, other spirits that they were smuggling in. But they'd come down here, 100 horses at a time, pack the carts up with the loot off the ships, and they drag it off to the heath where they had caverns dug in the sand, covered with thick oak boards. And then they put the sand on top of the boards, and even plant shrubs and trees on top of the sand to keep the authorities at bay, sort of thing. And under these boards was these caverns full of loot. So yeah, that went on for several years, right up until the 1830s. They started to get a grip on it. They put permanent guards down here and managed to curtail it a little bit. Before then it got quite fruity. They ended up fighting with pistols and bayonets and Christ knows what, and the dragoons lost men, and I think the Hadley boys took a fair pasting as well. There was a lot of injury, a lot of bloodshed. So yeah, they've been tough times. But yeah, it's all very quiet now. It's just me down here and the old plod rolling about. So anyway, we better get down the beach and have a look. It's raining, it's windy, so God knows what we'll find, what we'll see. But it should be, as always, there'll be something there, because always is. Right, what we got? Tea can stay here this time. Not really a night for sitting around on the sand drinking tea. It's probably going to be a fairly brisk walk if it's as bad out there as it sounds. Got the bag for bits of fishing tackle. We've got the lamps. Right. Let's go. Straight away, there's the usual suspects. But piece of an old ship timber there, heavily eaten by tornado worms. See an iron peg there, so it's not as old as the other ones we've seen, but it's a lovely piece of wood. So I'll come with us when we go. Quite a scary looking place, I think. Plenty of plastic greeblies tonight, but not a lot else, but it's to be expected. Well, that's a seal bone, that one. One of these little front arms, flippers, paddles, whatever they might be. We'll have that. Piece of deer skull there, I think. Deer or sheep, I'll say it's deer. That'll be the ribbon off a helium balloon, I should think. They normally are, yeah. That's quite a fresh one. I'm not going to poke it, but I reckon that's not been there long. Tracks there as well. A lot of these tonight. We've got a fishing line here, but that's to be expected. Every step I'm finding fishing line. Oh, there's a shoe, look. Hopefully it's not going to fall in it. That's a story for another night. I did find a human leg on the beach here once. Well, not here, a bit further down at Orford Ness, but some great pieces of wood here. I'm not going to take it all back tonight, but we will come back in the daytime, I think, with a bigger bag and grab a few of these, because these are ship timbers and they're in good condition, so fully carvable. This is one of them roots I found the other day that glowed orange, like a sea kale. Looking at that, the eyes growing. But there, like, you can just see the orange under the skin. I would say it was fungus, but it's definitely not fungus. It's growing in the root. surface no more videos, that one was poisonous, wasn't it? Another piece of old ship timber. Let's see what the ship worms have done to that. They bore right through it. I wonder how old that is. Let's see what that is and then turn around and head back. It's the old tank defences. Huge concrete cubes. They've got thousands of them along the beach here to stop the tanks. If they ever landed, that would prevent them getting much further. What's the theory? Although I'm sure with a tank you can move them, but it's the best they had at the time, I think. Nearly back at the power plant, so soon be time for a cup of tea. Just out there is where the hot water was flushed out back into the sea where the you see it traps krill or something. Because that is absolutely thick with birds. Look at that. They're feeding on something there. There's millions of them. Another piece of a horse tooth there. Been in the sea a while, that's well tumbled. Nice little shark egg there. Some sort of dummy 9mm round there. Job good, that's my bit of wood I wanted. How's that? Every time a tennis ball. Little shrew or a vole or something running about there, isn't it? What are you doing, little man? Owls will get you. Nice tidy bog oak there as well I found on the way back. There's Henry's Memorial. Beautiful bronze kayak paddles, one's broken to represent those that didn't make it. In memory of the 32 young Dutchmen who tried to escape to England by kayak during World War II to join the Allied forces. 8 of them reached the English coast, only 3 survived the war. The last living survivor dedicates this memorial to his brothers in arms who were less fortunate. He reached England and freedom on this beach on the 21st of September 1941. Well, there. That's Sizewell done. Interesting little look round. Oh, that was worth it. No treasure whatsoever, apart from the bits of wood, of course. That is one of the biggest hauls of plastic crap we've had yet. So much so, I'm not even going to take it out of the bag because it's not going to fit in the bag I've got. Yeah, we did find a seal bone, that's quite interesting. That'll be the humerus, I believe. So, front leg. But such a bizarre shape bone. Like that. Let's have a cup of tea. So yeah, we didn't get picked up by the fuzz. That's a result, because I think if I was a copper and I drove around it up past 1 in the morning, saw a chap sat here in a van, I would have a word. I'd be, oi, what's occurring? What are you up to? But yeah, that's Suffolk police all over. They seem to miss quite a lot, I find. Briefly mentioned earlier finding a human leg on the beach, and that involved the police then, and they were completely clueless and very unhelpful, to the point where their advice was chuck it back in the sea. It's probably animal bones, and it wasn't. Femur and a tibia of a human being, and it still contained pink matter, so it wasn't an old bone by any means. Somebody somewhere is still looking for that leg, or hoping that's going to walk in the door, and it never will, and the police were just not interested. So I don't have a lot of faith in the cops around here. They're a bit haphazard at best, I find. Anyway, right, I've finished my tea, crack on for home. Right, nearly 4 o'clock. Off we go. I'll see you later.